Meeting will now come to order. Roll call vote. Mr. Flonick? Here. Mr. Landwehr?
Here.
Mrs. Olson? Here. Ms. Sardin? Here. Mr. Granlund?
Here.
Mr. Johnson?
Here.
And I am here. All please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the agenda was posted throughout the district according to the school board policy, published as a legal ad in the Superior Telegram, posted in the district webpage, and sent to the WNXR radio station for announcement. A meeting notice was also sent to the connection for publication. I need a motion for approval of the November 14th agenda, both open and executive sessions.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Consent agenda. The October 10th, 2022 regular board meeting minutes, open and executive, are in your packet. So we will go to treasurer's report. Mr. Landwehr.
A summary of the treasurer's report as of October 31, 2022. General fund, general account. On October 31, 2022, there was a balance of $3,251,807.86 in cash and investments. Receipts since the 1st of November and not included in the October 31 balance are $20,699.15, and the disbursements from tonight's November 14th board meeting total $234,973.65. The flexible spending account on October 31, 2022, there was a balance of $22,846.64 in cash and investments. In the health reimbursement account on October 31, 2022, there was a balance of $84,0748 in cash and investments. In the debt service fund on October 31, 2022, there was a balance of $673.39 in cash and investments. And a more detailed report on fund activities included for your review in the financial statements.
Thank you, Mr. Landwehr. All right, next is the payment of invoices enclosed in your packet. And so we'll move into the resignation and appointment.
Ryan Anderson, part-time, 5 hours per day custodian at Iron River Elementary School, replacing Sean Lavin, who resigned in August. That's it.
Oh, wow. Okay, I need a motion to accept the consent agenda.
Also move.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, moving right along. We have Jeff ID here, the Executive Director for the Wisconsin Rural School Alliance, and Tanya Craig, Northwestern Middle School, Wisconsin Principal of the Year Award.
Okay. Oh, look like you're gonna clap right away. That's
I'm
okay.
excited. I am
Are you ready to go?
I'm bursting.
That's awesome. Okay, let me go first. All right. So, my name is Jeff Heide. I am the Wisconsin Rural Schools Alliance Executive Director, as you just announced. I've been there since July 1. Took over for Kim Kokel, who was there for 7 years. And all right, you got a group back there, right? And Kim Kokel, who was there for 7 years, and he did an outstanding job. I'm excited to be a part of WRSA. Little background knowledge before I go into this awesome recognition. We have over 300 rural schools in rural town in Wisconsin. We have about 240 members and about 175 schools growing, and just another person that's growing. So that's outstanding. So if you know anybody that's not in WRSA, tell them to recommend to be there, because we have a voice, and it's amazing what a voice we do have in rural areas, because I've been a part of incredible conversations around the state and on Zoom, and people are looking at us very well. They say what happens in rural happens all over the place, so we need to keep our voice going. Enough on that one, because that's not what it's about. It's about this great recognition. Now I have this beautiful frame here, because somebody never sent me a photo, but I'll give you the frame. Wait, no, I'm not going to give you actually, I'm going over here to get the frame.
Yeah.
And this frame's gonna go someplace, up someplace,
Yep.
because she is way too. It's not about me. Yes, it is about you. So here we go. I tried to break down what you wrote a little bit, and I could not do that. So we are going to read just about everything you sent me. Okay? Great job nomination. All right. Tanya's leadership is marked by high levels of student achievement, and I'm not trying to have my back to you. I just understand that that's this, so I'll come over here, all right? There. Marked by high levels of student achievement. Students know Tanya cares and expects them to do their best. Tanya does this mindfully by having Northwestern Middle School focus on universal level instruction with strategic use of daily professional learning time. There are also multi-level systems of support for those students who need extra help. Each Monday, grade level teachers team meet together and plan for the week. On Tuesday, counselors meet for 30 minutes with every grade level team. Principal Craig meets with every grade level team she can each Thursday. Teachers are also given regular time to review plan around data, and communicate with parents and families. She has hired and created instructional teams at Northwestern that unanimously agree the relationship between student and teachers are critical to student success. Through strong grade level collaboration at the universal level and building a culture that nurtures each and every student, NMS increased the number of students at the benchmark in both reading and mathematics since 2016-17. NMS earned silver and bronze levels in math, reading, and behavior through Wisconsin RTI Center and DEI, and statewide accolades for math in 1819. When our whole school district was 28th out of 419 for the state test results. Leadership through the pandemic was a strength for Tanya. I know this really is tough for you to just hear this, isn't it? But she's like, no, that's not what it is. Her gratitudes towards all around her helped eliminate the fear of the unknown and gave encouragement. She communicates support sincerely and reflects gratitude to her core. The pandemic plan was to give the teachers 2 full days of planning time. By the way, remember that's very clearly, I understand what you're doing. And then by 3/25/20, when this email was written, teachers need to start teaching their classes online to the best of their ability. They received Google Classroom training, classes or individual help from others or Tanya. This is an email that Tanya sent out. I'm not sure if you ever had a chance to hear or see this one, but it was outstanding email. It was great. Here's Tanya's email. Good morning, Team Awesome. Best of luck today. You got this. Thank you to all who kept me in the loop last night with their family letters and course layouts. Linda, I could say so much about your fantastic work, but I just have to say your picture on your main page makes my day. Michaela, what a first year experience you've had. You are crushing it. Keep it up. Julie, look at that rocking Google Classroom. Strong work. Looks amazing. Rena, eloquent, tactful, and full of grace. Love it. Remember, this week is about reaching out and making connections. As we get settled in, we can fine tune later down the road. For now, breathe, connect, and together we will grow and flourish. My phone is on. My emails are open. 543, I'm sorry, very good. 21, liftoff. Tiny Craig Principal. That's just a great need, especially at that time. Innovative, creative, instructional practices. Include hiring great teachers, supporting them, giving them the collaborative time to outline already and locating the funding for 2 instructional software programs and implementing them with fidelity. ALEKS, A-L-E-K-S, is a research-based online learning program that has offered course products in math for over 20 years. This helps students work on topics they are ready to learn. And the supplementary curriculum for reading is Reading Plus. Each of these either enhance or push the students higher in the content in math or reading, or breaks it down and goes at the appropriate level. Leadership in the community is represented through Tanya's teaching education classes at UW Superior. She is giving back to the profession by trying to grow in growing education major students and have students teach in our district. All benefits for us. Tanya has assisted with the efforts of the Iron River Chamber of Commerce, Douglas County Chamber of Commerce, and the Northwestern Middle School Parent collaborative efforts with employees, families, and community. Tanya has organized parent meetings for baking awareness, internet safety. Her latest efforts are strengthening the offering for more mental health services for students and families in our community. And there's another survey that went out that I can't go through, but that was great. And those are the big things, and I'm going to read this because this is actually fun. By the way, I'm an auctioneer about it too, so I'm going to fairly fast with this one, but this is good. These are all our certifications. Curriculum instruction, licensed curriculum director, new teacher mentor program, homeless students, open enrollment, multi-level student systems, positive behavior intervention systems, PBIS, Title I reading literacy programs, literacy reading specialist, reading teacher. She is our EPIC, EPIC for the education effectiveness, CC6 file. New teacher certified, reading coach, pre-K-12 certified, PBIS universal team trained, Skyward student teacher evaluation, Wisconsin DPI team trained certification with Wisconsin RTI instructional coach certification. She and two other math teachers also were invited to present the state conference in Rockland. I'm sorry to say that so fast, but that was actually really fun, and there's a lot of great stuff there. I know you probably know this already, but that's Tanya. So please I'm going to read this off, and then we'll give her a huge round of applause. I am so excited that she is our WRSA Principal of the Year. But Wisconsin Rural Principal of the Year, presented to Tanya Craig, Maple School District, in recognition for your dedication to providing leadership and ensuring quality education for children in rural Wisconsin. Congratulations,
No, but I do want to say thank you to my team. I came on board 9 years ago. I'm gonna cry. And they've taught me how to be a leader. And I thank our community because it's our kids and our families that make you want to serve and move you to serve and live selflessly. So to the community of the School District of Maple, thank you for the experiences and the time here. And I think everyone on our board did a very difficult job, but I have always felt supported in doing what's best for children. So thank you. And to my colleagues and my administrators here, I couldn't ask for better brothers and a sister. So thank you so much. Finally, right now, but I thank you. You're just really my rocks, and I love you with all my heart. And to the staff that are here and the parents, I thank you. So it's been an awesome journey. So, and I'm only 29. So. Common joke in the district, so I just had to throw it in there. But and thank you, and thank you for making this trip here. I know you just only drove up 3 hours and are turning around and driving 3 back. So I thank you, and I thank everyone for the time that they had to set aside to hear all of that. So sorry, but thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for
Oh,
coming.
I will.
Okay.
Yes, thank you for driving all this way. Be careful going back, watch for deer.
Yeah.
Okay, next item is discussion on transitions coordinator position.
/ mental health navigator, because they're all kind of blended in. You all received a letter from the counselors and guidance department, and we have a couple representatives here, Cara and Brina. So they're here for questions. If there's any questions that you have, if not, if you're at peace because they shared their stance.
Yeah, I'm hearing directly from the team. I thank Paul for the correspondence, just so we know that there'll be no lack in student services. I appreciate the letter.
I would just like to say, I get the not wanting to do something mid-year and that, but I do feel, I don't want to be a broken record, but I do feel really strongly about making sure mental health for the kids is taken care of and continues to be taken care of going forward. So although I agree that not doing something mid-year is probably correct you're gonna probably go backwards to end up training somebody new. I'm not sure I'm opposed to looking at if there's the ability to maybe take some of those things off of them for the future. Maybe that's next year or what have you the goal is to make sure that the counselors are in front of kids and doing what they need to in front of kids. And I don't want to end up I want to make sure that we're not inundating them with anything more than what I think their priority should be is being in front of kids. So that position I know was talked about in a fair amount of paperwork, but I'm sure there were some other things involved in that. And I just want to make sure that we don't continue to add to the counselors' positions. We just keep adding and adding and adding, and it happens over time. So I guess really what I'm trying to say in a nutshell is I appreciate the correspondence. I agree that shouldn't do anything mid-year, but I don't want it to necessarily be swept under the rug that we're not going to replace that position in the future, if that makes sense.
I'd like to actually say that I agree with both of those statements completely. And I just want to say thank you to Sherry, Mrs. Olson on the board for bringing it up last month and making sure that we were all clear on it and the staff was all clear on it. So it really takes a lot of the questioning out of it when everybody kind of gets on the same page. So thank you, Sherry.
Brina had a hand up.
I just wanted to add a new development since we wrote that letter. I got an email from a professor at UWS last week saying that they had heard that we were interested in some work with the social work department. So I have a meeting with them this week to have a potential school social worker intern for second semester. So that's another development that we're excited that they thought of us and that might happen for our district too, that we could talk about how that position would also help us this year. So that was something I would have added had I known before last week.
Also, kudos to Candy Staria wanting to give her credit because every day, an hour a day, she's devoting to calls, paperwork type of duties. And the public wouldn't know that. You would know that because you received the letter, but the public wouldn't know her stepping up as well. So I wanted to give kudos there.
And thank you to Adam for being cognizant of extra things being added to our plates. We appreciate your support very much in our efforts and work that we do at school. It means a lot that you recognize that.
We can feel that from everybody on the board, so we really appreciate that.
We know you have your hands full, so yep, we want you to feel supported, so, all right. Thank you, guys. Okay, next are gonna be, the approval item, request from Jennifer Forsythe, DECA advisor, and 9 DECA members to attend an overnight field trip to the DECA CRLC, which would be the Central Regions Leadership Conference. And this is December 8th to the 11th, 2022 in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Look at those fancy jackets.
I know, we got to bring out our DECA blazer.
I love
it. Last time we wore those was quite a while ago, so. So, yeah, I am Jenny Forsythe. As stated, I am the DECA advisor. I am pleased to introduce some of our officers to you this evening. So we have Maddie, who's our club president. We have Josie, who's our vice president of marketing. And we also have Kennedy, who is our vice president of hospitality. And we are seeking approval to attend the Central Regions Leadership Conference, which is also called CRLC.
So CRLC, it's an incredible opportunity that takes place the 9th through the 11th, but we have to leave the 8th because it starts really early. And it's in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The conference is hosted all around the Midwest every year between 10 states. And we are incredibly lucky that it happened in our home state instead of the tons of other places that it's held in. This conference is several days of professional speakers, tourist sessions, and work-based learning, and content connections, which are included but not limited to leadership workshops, tailored track tours. Options include sports marketing, entertainment marketing, hospitality and advertising, a higher education Marquette University tour, and then business and career fairs, real-life work simulations, and role-play competitions, cluster exams, DECAFest, and 3 motivational speakers.
We are seeking approval for a small group of the DECA members, just 7 students and the advisor, to attend the Milwaukee event. It's a very educational opportunity. It'll be amazing for us to learn about future jobs that we could possibly go for and just what exactly they are all about. As the conference begins on the morning of the 9th, as Maddie said, we will need an extra day to head down because of commute and just in case weather. And if it is possible, we would also like to tour the UW of Milwaukee while we are there. We would need 3 rooms for the event for 3 evenings.
The conference details were submitted, within the packet to the board, and we are happy to answer any questions you may have. We were paid for this conference with the funds that we have already attained from the Career Technical Education Incentive Grant, along with our student organization accounts, and we are working on fundraising this month to help offset the costs as well. We are currently selling candy bars, and we do have a donation fundraiser with Vertical Raise. And this Wednesday from 4 to 7 at McDonald's on East 2nd Street, we are hosting a McSchool night, which 20% of the sales do come to the DECA group.
So is it just the transportation you need?
Nope, everything is covered by all the stuff that we submitted.
Okay.
So I found funding for all of it.
Got it, excellent, thank you. And then it says in our packet 9, so a couple must have dropped out since
Well-
this was prepared.
We had up to 9 and the kids let me know and we have 7 kids that are
Okay,
interested.
right, that's, okay.
So it's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so you're giving up
Yes.
your weekend besides, right? Okay.
And part of the reason too that we did hit 9 is there's a wrestling meet, there's a boys basketball game and a girls basketball game during that weekend, which is just so.
Be excited.
Okay, thank you. I need a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
Okay, thank you. And all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have fun.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Brian.
Oh, one
Go
more.
ahead, Brian.
Go ahead.
You guys probably think that this DECA thing is a whole new thing, but I was actually a member of the DECA club about 45 years ago at Northwestern High School. That's a long time ago.
Did they have blazers back then?
We went to the carnival walk when we
Close
Thank
to
you.
Milwaukee. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Brian. Okay, next up, we have a request from Morgan Paulson, choir director, to take 16 choir members who are seniors on an overnight field trip to Chicago on June 8th to the 10th, 2022, and further requesting that fundraising for the trip be allowed year-round.
And
Hi,
you, I'm sorry, you have everything in your packet, and so Morgan is here for any questions.
So my name is Morgan Polson. It's nice to meet some of you finally. I'm the replacement for Michael Goodlet. It has been a pleasure being able to teach these kids. I just have loved working, even the seniors, even though they were very much, they really loved Mr. Goodlet. But they have come to warm up to me. And speaking of the seniors, they made, specifically for this year, made me aware that they did not get to attend a bigger choir tour because of COVID and all of that. So we were in talks about a senior trip. So specifically, I'm asking for permission to take a field trip to Chicago with the choir seniors June 8th through June 10th. I'm asking, or there is a larger choir tour that happens every 2 or 3 years as well. With this in mind, my intention is to take the trip every year when the large fire is not happening. I'm not asking for permission for those in the future, I'm just asking for permission now, but I'm letting you know my intentions in the future. I'm only asking for permission, again, for this year. This is to give the seniors something to look forward to fundraise and use remaining fundraise funds for the senior year. So I know they do a big bunch of fundraising that they do for the larger choir tours. And basically, it kind of gives them a reason to continue to fundraise, even though they're not going to be going on a big trip because they're seniors. But yeah, so specifically for this year, I think it is also really important that those kids that didn't get the big tour get to have something before they leave. In addition, I'm also asking permission for seniors to be able to fundraise for this trip for the whole year leading up to it, so this year. The fundraiser they will be doing is a Quick Trip card fundraiser. I'm really excited about it. Students make 5% off of how many cards they are able to sell with due dates for their fundraising, so it's every other Wednesday. If any of you are familiar with this fundraiser, basically I have order forms. I will give them to the kids. They will mark if their grandma wants a $10 gift card, or maybe 2. They'll mark a 2. They turn them into me every other Wednesday. I get them and I make an order online through Quick Trip, and Quick Trip only charges me for 95%, and then that other 5% remains in the students' accounts. So it's super easy on my end, super easy on their end, and there have been plenty of school districts where they have been able to raise basically like all that they need to be able to pay for the tours. So it's been really successful in other Wisconsin school districts. So I'm hoping that it can continue to be a really successful year. Any questions about the fundraiser, first of all?
And you were wanting all year long, though?
Yeah, for
Continue
this
on.
whole year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
To fundraise for that senior trip. Yes.
So Mr. Goodlett had a lot of avenues for fundraising. And I'm just asking the question, were those avenues shared with you? Do you know what he was doing? I mean, there was the 50-50 car washes, and I mean.
All the poinsettias, I was at Walmart and wondering if you're gonna be doing that, because I won't buy it.
So all of those fundraisers that he was doing, are you wanting to continue? Are you looking at continuing those same things that he had established? And you're wanting to add this, and is this for seniors only? Or is this for the entire choir to fund the potential senior trip that you're looking to do in the future?
Yeah. So I am planning all of those, like the 50-50 raffle, the car wash, to just not do those. They were cool and really fun, and they raised a lot of funds, but I think on my end, it seemed like a lot to take on. And this Quick Trip fundraiser can raise more, at least the same, if not more, than those other fundraisers, and it's pretty easy. And doesn't take the kids weekends or nights away from them either, and mine.
So up until this point, because I know I've already been, I'm not gonna use the word hit up, but I've already been approached from some of the choir members for this particular thing. So has that particular fundraising gone well?
It's gone super well. I mean, I continue to make orders every other Wednesday, and the kids have raised a lot. Last month it was 10%, so Quick Trip sometimes will up the percentage for them. And it's really exciting. Soon I'm hoping they will announce when they will start getting rebates. So if somebody gets a gift card, they use it at Quick Trip to buy gas or groceries, then we'll start getting a check back from Quick Trip on those rebates and be able to use that towards better music for the kids, or that could again get distributed then amongst the kids into their student accounts. So it has been really successful. The second part of the question about whether it's for just the senior trip, seniors specifically right now will just be fundraising for that senior trip. We do have that trip to Chanhassen that we take every year, and I am wanting to let the other students be able to fundraise and use that Quick Trip fundraiser for that. But specifically, I'm asking for the fundraising for the Quick Trip for seniors to be able to use that for the trip.
And then just to make sure I'm clear as I can be, your intent is to stop all other fundraising?
Yep.
And do just the Quick Trip thing?
So no poinsettias.
Those, that's a whole different story. That was, Angwell stopped selling poinsettias. So I'm having to call a bunch of different greenhouses because I love that tradition and I want to keep that alive. But I need to find somebody that has them. I was given, there's Carlton Greenhouse, there's a couple in the Wisconsin area that may, I just have to do some calling around. So that though will be, I think that is typically gone to the choir. As far as, instead of going to the student accounts, I think that has gone to like the choir to pay for. We went to Corefest to pay for admission to Corefest for those 8 students that were chosen. That's kind of what it's been used for. Poinsettia specifically.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
I know parish nurses have used the Quick Trip, and it has helped them immensely. There are different congregations around up here.
Yeah, it really, I mean, it has gone over, it's easy. I think that's what makes it so nice is that again, the kids are not having to take time at night, they're having to take their weekends, they're just I told them for Thanksgiving, bring them home and advertise to your family. And, you know, that's a good way to raise some funds, so.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions? If not, I need a motion.
Motion to approve.
Do I have a second? Ms. Wilson, thank you. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Have fun with your
Seniors are
seniors.
super excited, so.
Thank you. Fundraise smarter.
That's great.
Okay, next is request for overnight trips from Brian Smith, Director of Athletic and Activities. For the first one is boys and girls varsity basketball to a holiday tournament in West Salem, Wisconsin, which is December 28th to the 29th, 2022. And I'll just go ahead and say the other one as well, and then you can talk about both. Wrestling team, December 2nd to the 3rd, 2022, in West Salem, Wisconsin, December 9th to the 10th, in Wisconsin Dells, and December 28th to the 29th in River Falls. 3 different ones with the wrestling.
Yeah, so
Mr. Smith?
most of our coaches are all busy right now practicing, boys and girls. Boys started tonight, wrestling started tonight, girls last week, so I'm just kind of representing them. We've traditionally played over the holidays for boys and girls basketball. The boys have gone to West Salem now a couple years. The girls have gone to Menominee for a number of years, but we're invited to go to West Salem, so we thought it'd be kind of cool to have the boys and girls go to the same site and play in the tournaments. We're looking at, the district will pay for the entry fee and transportation, and then the parents / activity funds would pay for the meals and hotels for the trip. Wrestling, there's 3 of them. These are 3 very good tournaments that we like to get in because we've got some very good wrestlers that need that exposure, as well as it's very difficult to find wrestling matches around here with teams other than Ashland and Superior. We wrestle them 4 or 5 times a year. So this is a chance to get out, see kids that we're going to see in regionals, see kids that we're going to see in sectionals, as they get ready to get in the tournament competition. So same there. The school will pay the entry fees, transportation. I think the River Falls one, they'll take the vans, they'll need a bus for the other 2. The boys and girls tournament, the plan right now is to have a bus taken down there and basically drop them off and come back, as pretty much all the parents are going and staying overnight. So they would just transport their child to the venues and bring them back. So we could save a little bit there. So that's what we got cooking right now.
Is it just varsity?
Yeah. Wrestling, the West Salem and the Wisconsin Dells are both levels, JV and varsity. I'll take all the kids to those 2, but the Northern Badger and River Falls is just varsity. It's like 64 teams there. Badger, it's like 2 days.
personally, I know that wrestling experience is good for these kids because they get some good opponents down there, which helps them a lot. The further we can travel to play better teams will help our basketball and wrestling. So
Yeah, West Salem boys basketball is probably the best team in our division this year. Possibly.
I think they're ranked number
They're-
one in the
yeah.
preseason.
They're really, because we get a chance to play them and kind of see what we're all about. It stretches us a little bit that we don't necessarily get.
I've had two sons that have been on a wrestling program here, and you meet a totally different kind of competition when you go downstate. So I definitely believe in, yes, we need to do this because one was on his way to state and the other one made it to state, but when he ran into the wrestlers that were at state, they're totally out of our league.
And we'll see some of those guys, especially in the Dells
I agree.
and River Falls. We'll see that caliber for sure.
That's right.
Any other comments or questions? If not, I need a motion for both the boys and girls varsity basketball as well as the wrestling.
I make a motion to approve both of those requests.
I'll second.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I need a motion and a second for the CISA 12 shared services contract addendum / revision for the superintendent search.
I'll make it
I'll
to
make a
motion to approve that. And I'll second that.
Can you second it? Okay. And I need to do that as a roll call vote. Mr. Glonick?
No.
Mr. Landwehr?
No.
Mrs. Olson?
Yes.
Mrs. Sari?
Yes.
Mr. Granlund?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yeah.
And I also vote yes. Motion carries. Okay, policies. We have number 10161, Parliamentary Authority, second reading. Number 8500, Food Service, and the district policy, Angel Fund revisions.
I know Mr. Johnson spoke with Peggy earlier and would like on the food service, 8500, second page, when it says the district will notify parents, guardians when the student's food service account balance is at or under $5 through email, telephone messaging. He would like and/or text messaging. The reason it was the way it is because when Sky Alert goes out, all of those are used. But if that would be best as far as Mr. Johnson is concerned, it's a technical and we can make sure that that happens.
Okay. If nobody has anything to add, I just need a motion for this.
Where did the $5 come from?
Years and years ago.
Well, only reason I ask, and this is strictly from a parent point of view, is there a way to shut that off when school is out? Because we have been told for years, my family, you want to get that as close to zero as possible at the end of the school year. So we do. And usually I have 2 or 3 kids under $5. And then I get a phone call and an email every doggone day, all summer long, that I have kids with the school meal program under $5 and I need to send money. It is frustrating as all get.
So putting
I just
$6 in there would not be possible to avoid that.
No, I'm not saying. I'm just saying, if you're telling me that I need to get it as close to zero as possible,
Who's telling you that?
you get a letter that comes home that says that's what you should do. Because the district doesn't want to have money in all these accounts all summer long. So I get it down to as close to zero as I can, and then I get pestered all summer.
Well, I think what we'll do is we'll change the letter. And we'll say,
Keep it at 6.
keep it at $6 so that you don't get a single phone call or something.
I'm just.
I can dig into what the Sky Alert settings are.
Yeah, change the settings.
I don't
Because if you haven't experienced
Can be
it,
done.
you get a phone call, then you hang up, and then you get another one 2 minutes later, and then you hang up, and then you get another one 2 minutes later.
Listen, I just really want to talk to you.
But they're automated. Nobody actually talks all the
That's
time.
right.
You're not even selling
Cody?
car insurance.
Cody, am I gonna leave this one to you?
I'll follow up with.
All right.
We're
We're gonna make, yeah,
Thank you.
got it.
I get it. That was strictly a personal thing.
Right,
Okay.
yes.
Do I have a motion? Moving along. I need a motion for these three policies. I made the motion to be approved, the policies. You want a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Administrative reports. Next is communications received. Dr. Crony.
Communication correspondence from Samantha Cowley to Jody Powell, our kindergarten teacher, and Brad Larrabee, principal at NES. That was so heartwarming. I just was so wonderful that I needed to pass that on to the full board. It was. I move on to financial certification. Okay. Cody, go ahead. Any questions for Cody on the final aid certification?
Yeah, so the certification was finalized by our Department of Public Instruction on October 15th. Our district received just over $347,000 more in what we call equalization aid. But it's important to note that this does not actually indicate increased revenue for us. It just gets pulled out on the other side. It decreases our local property tax revenue. So the increase is nice, but ultimately did not lead to any additional dollars for us in the revenue limits. Past two budget years, the state legislature has had basically zero increases in our per pupil aid and the revenue limit formula, which for us is the lion's share of our revenues that we use to educate our students on a daily basis. Our local tax levy did decrease by just over $161,000 compared to last year's levy. And our mill rate, which is very important to our taxpayers, continues to drop. It was about $906 per $1,000 assessed value last year. That's projected to be $750 per $1,000 assessed value or equalized value this school year. The end result is that there's fewer revenues in the district, but this might not necessarily equate to your tax bill that you see because, as we all know, property values have increased on average 14% across the state. In our district alone, it was about 18.5% across our district in increased equalized value in terms of that. And those are all determined by the state, not obviously by us as a school district. Historically, the unfortunate truth is that our revenues haven't really kept pace with our increased costs. Kind of like everyone, we're experiencing increased fixed costs. So transporting our students to school, heating our buildings, keeping our lights on. It all is in relation to increasing costs without increasing revenues, which makes it difficult to stay on par with maintaining educational programming, staffing, maintenance planning. All that stuff is really taxed. So this year it's an extremely tight budget, folks. Our team, we're combing through our expenses as best as we possibly can to make things balance without affecting the day-to-day operations of our school building. But the fact of the matter is that if you're a private business and you sell your widget for $5 and you have increased costs, you can in return sell that widget for $6. In schools, we don't sell widgets. And a lot of those fixed costs that we have that basically keep our buildings open, keep our buildings warm, keeping our students coming to our schools transportation-wise have increased immensely. So that's a little bit of where we're trying to figure out and trying to get through.
Would it help if they got the caps off?
Yeah.
Okay, and what percentage there?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They've talked about it, but they haven't done anything about it.
That's since 1993.
Yep.
Yep. So our funding formulas have its roots in 1993. That's
Yep.
a long time ago, but it still affects us today.
That's right.
We're a fiscally responsible district then. We're a fiscally responsible district now, but the fact of the matter is that inflation continues to increase. The day-to-day operations through our buildings are getting higher, and that's becoming an issue for us to try to make ends meet.
Thank you for what you do each and every day, Cody.
on to the school board election notice and schedule. Dr. Coney?
School board election notice and schedule is included in your packets. Mrs. Livingston Matherly, Mr. Johnson, and Ms. Sari's 3-year terms are expiring at the end of April 2023. The election will be held Tuesday, April 4th, 2023. That's where we're at.
Thank you. Maintenance update, Mr. Fetchcotter?
Pretty straightforward on the maintenance end of things, the report that was in your packet. Any questions I can answer? We're heating our buildings now, as you saw coming in, we're getting into winter. So we broke out the snow shovels and salt and sand today.
The 102nd State Education Convention is January 18th to the 20th, 2023.
I have heard from all that are attending, and we will make sure that we are set with registration and we'll get in on the early bird.
Okay, so we can save money there.
Correct.
All right. Any donations?
Classics by the Lake donated $650 towards the Angel Fund. The Northwestern High School class of 1968 donated $250 for a senior scholarship. One of Samantha Vetch's former students' parents, Veronica Garcia, purchased 80 rugged duet cases for the kindergartners for a total worth of $1,468. Amnicon Farmers Union donated $300 to the Northwestern High School FFA chapter, representing $50 per student. 6 attended this year, as they have done each year to help cover the cost of the students attending the FFA National Convention. 2 bags of new and slightly used shirts, pants, dresses, shorts, and shoes were donated to NES by Ashley Stokes Listig. Mission Covenant Church donated multiple pairs of snow pants and boots to NES. Holiday Station Stores donated 2 cases of 2-ounce bottles of hand sanitizer to NES.
What is Classics by the Lake?
Oh, they do those cool, they have the cool
Cars, yeah.
cars.
Oh,
And so
There's
they
a group over there.
fundraise and
Yeah.
It's a car
Yeah.
club.
car club, yeah.
Mhm.
And yearly, they do something nice for somebody, some program or teacher in our district.
They do the car show and like your bike.
okay, I've been looking at it.
No matter how big or small, these are all
Oh,
appreciated.
Yes.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
So thank you for everything we get. Okay, WASB correspondence and legislative report, Mrs. Olson.
Quite a few things since the last month's meeting. School referendums. So despite the inflation and recession worries, support for school referendums remains strong. Voters on November 8th approved 64 out of the 81 school district referendum questions placed before them, reflecting a 79% overall passage rate. Surplus. We have record state surplus confirmation. It should enable more school funding in the next state budget, according to a new release from DOA. Noteworthy items from the fiscal year 2022 annual fiscal report include the state's undesignated general balance fund at the end of 2022 was $4.3 billion, nearly 70% higher than the prior year balance of $2.58 billion, and more than 7 times larger than the balance at the end of 2018. The current budget stabilization fund, the rainy day fund balance, remains at $1.73 billion, the largest in the state's history and more than 5 times larger than the balance at the end of 2018. Robin Voss, fresh off his re-election as Assembly Speaker, says he's willing to boost educational funding as Tony Evers wants, but would insist the governor in exchange agree to universal school choice. Special education funding. A new report from the Educational Law Center finds Wisconsin school districts collectively faced a bill of $1.25 billion in unfunded special education costs in the 2019-2020 school year, even after accounting for state special education reimbursements and federal Individuals with Disability Acts funds. Moving along, Wisconsin's low reimbursement rate for special education leaves Wisconsin school districts on the hook for $1.25 billion, which in turn forces districts to divert funds intended for general education for all students to cover the shortfall in funding for special education services to students with disabilities. In its 23-25 state budget request, the DPI has asked for funding to increase the reimbursement rate to 45% in 23-24 and 60% in 24-25 as the first steps toward achieving an eventual 90% reimbursement for special education costs. That aligns with the current WASB resolution 2.31. And finally, Wisconsin state and local tax burden, lowest level in at least a generation. From the Wisconsin Policy Forum, as the pandemic and the resulting recession hit in 2020, Wisconsin state and local tax burden fell to its lowest level in at least a generation, new data from the U.S. Census Bureau shows. So despite the decrease in tax revenues as a share of income in Wisconsin, the state's tax ranking compared to other states actually became somewhat less favorable. That's likely due to tax collections in other states being hit harder by COVID-19. Wisconsin's tax burden, however, remains below the national average despite the state receiving less from fees and federal aid. Apologies, it was kind of lengthy. Lot happening.
Thank you, Mrs. Wilson.
Okay, next we have the CISA 12 report. Mr. Clark.
Tomorrow, I still must have been there, but we have a meeting tomorrow night in Ashland, and since Dr. Maness is here, do you want to update for us?
Passing the buck here.
Well, I know there's an offer on a new building.
Yeah,
Oh.
there's no current building operating place. So right now we're
Oh.
Now you're back out. Oh, okay.
Now we have nothing.
My notes had that. Okay, so
Yeah.
now we're back out. Okay.
That's the big one.
That's the biggest probably everybody wants to know.
Yeah.
So you got nothing?
Nothing. Tomorrow, no more.
Nothing new to add.
All
There's a few
right.
things you could report on. We had a wonderful sportsmanship summit. And on that, we had 18 schools at season state.
It was very well done. It was modeled after the WNA sportsmanship summit that they've held for a number of years. We took a group of 8 students, 2 freshmen, 2 sophomores, 2 juniors, 2 seniors. Actually, just met them today. They really enjoyed it. All parts of it. It's interesting to share with other schools in our C7s. They all were there. Right? Everybody showed up with a group, and yeah, it was a good day. We came up with a few ideas.
We learned next year not to schedule it on the day of the sign. But
National Signing Day, we
Yeah.
just signed 11:10, so we had to leave a little early.
there were a couple.
I'm glad, thank you for doing it. It was very well done, and our kids did a nice job representing our school, and we got to do that.
Well, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay.
We somehow managed to squeeze 180 people into that. Yeah, it was pretty tight. We were in the stairwells, so then we were.
Nice job to remind your report.
I know how to delegate.
Very good.
You all do.
Okay, we will now hear from the student board representatives.
So our football season has finally come to an end. We lost in the second round of playoffs to Aquinas. It was 36-16. And from last I've heard, they are still in the playoffs in level 5 this Friday. State finals. So we lost to a really good team. But we were the undefeated conference champions this year. And from what I've heard from all the guys, they had a fun season.
Cross country, boys qualified for state as a team and took 14th, while Jenna Hirsch qualified individually, taking 78th. Conference boys and girls, cross country, boys and girls were both conference champs.
Volleyball also had a strong season this year, but lost to Prescott in the first round of playoffs. Brent Hessel and Brindley Ton are both playing in the Minnesota-Wisconsin border battle on Wednesday, I believe. So that will be fun to watch as well.
Boys basketball started today, and their first game is on December 1st at home.
And then girls basketball started last week. They were down in the Dells this last weekend for a scrimmage. They won 2 and lost 2, but I was talking to Annalie Sutherland and she said it was really good exposure to seeing which teams they're going to be playing against. And their first home game is on December 2nd.
Wrestling started today, and we will be going to West Salem for a quad on December 3rd.
So dance team has also just started, and they have a competition at UW Eau Claire on December 10th. I was actually sitting in the commons today, and they were practicing the school song, and they all looked like they were enjoying themselves.
Drama qualified for state, and that will be on Friday night. And then Night of 1X is tomorrow night at 7 as free admission.
And then the band has the KBJR Christmas City of the North Parade on Friday. We had NWMA All Conference Band concert last week on Tuesday, and we were well represented in that. Northwestern, so we had 14 students participating. On the 19th, we have our Christmas concert, and then on the 5th, we have our jazz band concert that we do every year. And then our last concert, which I don't remember the date was, but it was after our last board meeting, also went very well.
Choir had his concert the same night as band last month, I think. Which went well. They have a concert on the 12th, and Chambers
Tours. And then the chamber singers are going to be doing their annual tour of the schools, and then they are also going to a long-term care facility to sing for some of the seniors. And then we also had a recognition assembly on the same day that they had the CISA 12 conference, and we had Tyrion Plash sign to play a letter of intent to play D2 basketball at Da Vinci State. We also had all conference awards. Golf was represented, volleyball, football, and cross country. We also had all academic state. I believe there was 3 girls from the golf team on it. And then a lot of the football players are all region. And then I saw something today about Luke Sedin having an all-state recognition as well.
We had Triple Nice and Lucidity were on mention that Taylor Coughlin for Team All-State.
So that is pretty cool, and we are very well represented with all of that.
FCCLA collected over 20 Thanksgiving baskets to donate to the local food shelf, as well as some.
So if you went out into the commons at all within the last month, you would see that giant turkey on the wall. Each of the feathers represented a donation, and it had the name written on it. So it was shown throughout the school, and people could see who was being involved.
And Mark's being too humble. Mark is too humble to say that he was a state participant for cross country, so congratulations.
I was just gonna say, in addition to all that, our kids do attend class every day.
Good. Well, thank you. Thank you both.
Good job.
We have our reports in our packet for the high school, middle school, elementary, Iron River Athletic, Special Education Director. So everything has been put in our packets for that. And so do we have any student, staff, or community recognition?
Not other than what has already been done, and of course, Tanya's.
Okay, good. Lots of stuff. All right, then do we have any comments from the audience? All right. I need a motion for consideration to move to an executive session necessary for those items exempted under open session according to Wisconsin State Statute 19.85, sub 1 AFC. Included under this item are contract and strategies for a new superintendent search. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
I'll second.
I need a roll call vote. Mr. Glonick?
Yes.
Mr. Landwehr?
Yes.
Mrs. Olson?
Yes.
Mrs. Sari?
Yes.
Mr. Granlund?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Motion carries. Can I have a motion for us to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
And one of you can second?
I'll second.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
And then,
Motion carries. We are adjourned.